Hello. Hi everyone, my name is Giovanna Proença, and today we'll be talking about how to solve some coding problems of CS50 Python and any other problem you might have during this live. So if you have any question, you can send here on the chat, or if you're feeling comfortable, you can join our live and ask your question directly to me. All right, I will be fixing here in the comment the how can you enter in this live. Just 1 second. Well, so before we start, we are Doors Coding School, this YouTube channel that you're seeing right now, and our goal is to teach people how to learn how to code. So we know how hard it is to learn how to code by yourself, and we kind of like to help people from around the world to learn how to code using some courses. So if you take a look at our channel, we have content about CS50, CS50 Python, CS50 Web, Free Code Camp, and the Odin project. And these are the main courses we normally suggest to people to learn how to code. When you're learning how to code, it's hard to learn how to code by yourself, right? So we have our Discord group, and you can join for free if you're interested. You can take a look here in this link, in this page. The link is in the description. And basically here, you can join our membership, our Discord community, this one in here. And here we have people from around the world where they ask questions and we're normally answering, giving some ideas of how can you get unblock in a bug that you might have, because it's really hard to learn by yourself. Well, so now, since we don't have any questions so far, I'm going to start working with the making faces problem. This is one of the first problems you have in CS50 Python. And it's pretty interesting because here we're working with functions and variables. The main goal of this problem is to implement a function called convert that will accept a string as an input. So we're going to ask the user for a message, and we're going to return the same message, but every time we have a happy face using colon and parentheses, we're going to convert this into an emoji. Or if we have a sad face, we're going to convert into an emoji as well. How can we do this? Here, before we start, we're going to start creating here the file. So here, this is my VS Code. Okay, if you don't have it, we have a video where we explain how can you set up your environment to start learning how to code, to start coding actually. And every time you want to create a new folder, you just need to click in here where you can create a new folder, or you can write it down here, mkdir, and you can say the name of the folder you want to create. Here I'm going to call it faces. If you take a look in here, now we have a new folder called faces. And how can we enter in this directory? We can do cd and the name of the directory. So if you take a look here in the terminal, you have the word faces. Then, if you want to create a new file, you can click in here, new file, or you can click here, or you can write it down, touch, and you can give a name for this file, faces.py. And if you take a look, now we have a new file called faces.py inside. And this will be the main file we will be working in this project. So let's see what we have to do. Basically, we're going to create a function called convert. So normally we can create functions or not, but in this case, they're asking us to do this. And this is really good because functions will be kind of the main idea every time we're working with programming. So here, how can we create a function? We're going to define this word def, and we're gonna write it down convert. All right, and our convert here, they're telling us that accepts a str variable, so we're accepting a string. And in here I'm gonna wait for a string from the user. Then we're gonna do some things, but I want to show you how it works in the main idea. Every time we have a function, we can print out anything we have in here. So for example, if I want to print out hello, and I run the code in here, python faces.py, anything will happen because this function convert, we're printing hello inside the function convert, but we're never calling this function, we're never reaching this function. So how can we reach this function to work? we have to call. So we have to say the name of the function, convert, and we need to send a parameter in here. Here I'm gonna say G. Actually, I will remove and then we can go back with the str here. So I'm calling the function convert in here, and now that I will call it, it will print hello for us. So if I print in here python faces.py, now we're able to see hello here in the terminal. Then we're able to send things to this function. So for example, if I say here G, oh, let me just double check one thing. Yes, I understood. Let me do all over again because I wasn't sharing the right way. So let's go back. I'm gonna delete in here and I will do all the steps again. So if we want to create a new folder, let me change here my terminal. So if you want to create a new folder, we just need to click here, make folder, new folder, all right? Or you can write it down here in the terminal, mkdir faces. And then if we take a look, now we have a new folder called faces. If you want to create a new file, we can click in here, new file, or we can add a new file here in our terminal. So we can do cd faces. And then if you take a look here in the terminal, we're inside this directory faces, and we're able to create a new file saying touch faces.py. And then if you take a look in here, now we have a file called faces.py. So let's start working. As I mentioned, we're going to work with functions. So I will define a function called convert, and I'm going to print hello. If I run the code this way, python faces.py, it won't display anything for me because here the print hello only exists inside this function convert. If I want to print convert, I have to call the function convert in here. So if I do convert, we're going to reach this function here. So if I run our code right now, it will print hello for us. All right, so always remember, every time you create a function, you have to call it somewhere, otherwise it won't work. Okay? Now, how can we send parameters? How can we send values from our main function to this convert function? If I put here G, that it's my name, here I have to say that I am expecting a variable, and I'm going to call str, for example, and here I'm going to print this str variable. If we take a look in here, if I do python faces.py, I'm printing G. And why is that? Let me run the debugger, and then you can see what is going on. One second. So here, it will run our code. It will start running our code in our line 4. And if we take a look, basically the debugger will show us what is going on inside of our code. So it will show us step by step of what is going on. So in here, I have the word convert, and I'm sending the variable, this string G. Once I click here, this value, we're going to go inside our convert function. So here we are on line 2, and our variable str in here is storing the value G. That is exactly what we're sending here inside the parentheses when we're calling the function. So once we run the code, we're going to see here G. Okay, and then we finish our code. So this is pretty much what is going to happen. Instead of sending here G, I'm going to send here a variable. I'm going to put here as, for example, x equals to input. And input is a function that we can use to get the value from the user. All right. And here I'm going to send, instead of G, I'm going to send this variable x. Okay. So let's see what is going on. If I run here python faces.py, it's expecting us to send a message, and I'm going to put here, for example, hello world, and then we're printing hello world because this is the variable we're sending. Let's see this using the debugger. So here in our line 4, we're asking the user for an input, and then here we have to type in something, for example, hello world. If I click enter, now the X variable is storing hello world, the message we sent here in the terminal, and we're gonna send this hello world string to our convert function. So now our str variable has the value hello world, and this is exactly what we're printing here in the terminal. Okay, let me just fix one thing. I'm gonna send the link here to, so anyone that wants to enter in the live can join here. So I'm sending on the chat. Now I think all of you are able to see here. Great. So now let's continue. Basically, we're not going to print only the str. We need to convert our message. So for example here, if I run hello with a happy face, we shouldn't print here this happy face this way. We should convert this into an emoji. All right, and what are we gonna do here? If you take a look, CS50 give us these two links where we can copy these icons, all right, and we can use in our code. So if you click, it will open up here this light smiling face. You can copy and paste in the future. But how can we replace our colon parentheses to these two emojis that we have in here? So we're gonna use one method in Python that has name replace, all right? So what happens? This replace method replaces an specified phrase with another specified phrase. In this case, if we take a look at this example, we have a variable here saying I like bananas, and we're using the replace method where we want to change bananas with apples. And once we print this new variable, this new message where we're replacing bananas with apples, we're able to see here I like apples instead of I like bananas. And I can put here anything. If I put, for example, a happy face in here, I want to replace the happy face with our emoji. So let's try it out here in this example. I want to do this change. Once I run it, let's wait a second. And here, instead of printing the colon parentheses, we're printing now the happy face. So this is exactly what we're going to do right now. All right, let's use this replace method. So here I'm going to create a variable a, for example, and I'm going to do str.replace, and I'm going to replace here the happy face with our emoji. All right, so let's see if it's working. If I run here python faces.py and I say hello happy face, it's not printing out in here. I don't think we need this. Let me double check. Oh, all right. Here we have to print out the variable a, not the variable str anymore, because a is the one that is storing here the result of this function. So let's see. Let's see using the debugger. Here, we're going to ask the user for a message. So I'm going to say hello happy face. And here we have x equal to hello this happy face, and we're going to send x to our function. So str here is hello happy face. And now once we run this line, we're going to see a new variable a where we're going to change the happy face with this emoji. And now we're able to see this. So once we print, we're going to see here in the terminal exactly what we want. All right. Now we have to do the same, but with a sad face. So now we're going to use the variable that we just changed here, the variable a, and we're going to replace the sad face with this icon. So here I'm going to create a variable b, and I want to change the variable a, and I want to replace here the sad face with this sad emoji. So I'm going to copy from here. Copy. And then I want to print here the variable b. So let's use the debugger again and see what is going on. So let me run the debugger. And Here, if I say hello, happy face, and hello, sad face, this is the variable x is our message that we just typed in. And here we have str is equals to the message we sent. Then our variable a will be hello, only changing the happy face, and our variable b will be hello, changing only the sad face. But since we're replacing here the variable a that we already did the change for the happy face, so now we're able to see both emojis, and we're done with the problem. Okay, so this is pretty much what we have to do in this problem. If I run here hello just happy face, it will display only the happy face. If I do hello with a sad face, it will display only the sad face. And if I want to do happy face, sad face, and happy face again, it will display only the icons. All right, so this is it. This is pretty much what we have to do. Let's see if anyone has any questions. I'm not sure. Yes, great, that's good. So let's move on to our next problem. That is the problem Einstein. So what are we going to do in this problem? Here, we're going to create a file called einstein.py, and we're going to implement a program that will prompt the user for a mass as an integer. So we're going to ask the user for a mass, and then we're going to output the equivalent number of joules as an integer. So we're going to assume that the user will input an integer. Basically, we're going to do this math here. We're going to calculate the energy by doing math times the speed of light squared. All right, so we're going to use this formula here, and we're going to calculate the energy because we're going to receive the mass, and the speed of light is always the same number, this huge number here in meters per second. Okay, this is basically what we need. We're going to ask the user for a mass, and we're going to output the energy. Okay, so let's start. I'm going to create a new folder here. And how can I get out of the directory we are right now? We can do cd space ... and now we're back into ebook. We're not inside of faces anymore. And we're going to create a new folder by doing this again. Einstein. Now we have a folder called Einstein, and I'm going to enter in this folder. Okay. Now we're going to create a new file. So I'm going to do touch einstein.py. And if we expand here, now we have this file einstein.py. Great. So let's start coding. First, we need to get the mass from the user. So we're going to go here, and we're going to create a variable called m equals to input. And I'm going to ask the mass for the user. All right. So if we run here, let's see if it's working. Einstein.py. We're asking here for mass, and I'm going to put 50, for example, and nothing will happen because we only have this first line in here. Then we're going to calculate the energy. So the energy, I'm going to create a variable called E, and we know that the energy is mass times speed of light squared. So first, I'm going to create a variable where I'm going to store the speed of light. So we know that speed of light is this number in here. Okay, so you can copy and paste. And here, the energy will be mass. Since we have the variable m, we're able to use this in here, times, and we need to put c times 2, because this will create the square that we are expecting. All right? It will give us a weird number. So right now, I'm going to change here to number 1 and to number 2, and then we can see what is going on. All right? So if I run in here, Einstein.py, and I put here 50, oops, we need to print out the energy. So here, print E. Okay? And we're going to run this again. If I put here 50, we should see here 50 times 2 squared, that should be 4. So 50 times 4, that should be 200. But in here, we're not able to see this. We're seeing 50, 50, 50, 50. And what is going on? Because in here, every time we're working with input, whatever the user type in will be stored in a string. If you don't remember this, you can take a look at lecture 0 of CS50 Python, where they explain why this is going on. All right. So basically, the input method will always return to us a string. If we want to use the integer instead of the string, if we want to use the number 50 and not the string 50, we have to convert this input from a string to an integer. So here, what is going on? Instead of just asking the user for the input, we have to convert this into an int, doing this. So the use of int x is called casting, and basically we are converting the string into an integer. All right, we're changing the type of the variable. So this is exactly what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do here int m. I wanna convert our variable m into an integer. And now if I run this again and I put 50, we are receiving 200 because we're not anymore doing a concatenation, putting 50 one next to each other. Now we're doing a math operation. All right. Since this is working right now, I'm gonna paste the correct value for speed of light. And now we should see exactly the same output, this huge number starting with 45. And this is exactly what we're expecting here in this test. Okay, so this is pretty much what we have for this problem as well. All right. If you want to see in more details, we have 2 videos in our channel where we explain with some animations how functions and variables work. So if this live wasn't enough, you can watch those videos as well. And you can join our Discord community where you can ask questions to us and we will be answering you within 24 hours. You can join our group coaching. It's pretty good because then you're not alone anymore, because it's really hard to learn how to code by yourself. Okay, let me stop sharing my screen. And this is it. Next Tuesday at 6 p.m., the same time, we will be doing again this group coaching, and I hope to see you there. All right, take care. Bye-bye.